Good evening, YouTube viewers, and may I first say to any truth arbiter that I am not going to present any misleading facts in this video. Everything is based on common sense fact, things that can be checked up on, and I'm not going to talk about any sort of medical cure. I'm just going to talk about health and things as I know. I am a human. I do have a human body. I have the ability to research things and find out what things are called. So, yes, this video is called The Cause of All Cancer. And it's not a single thing. Well, I'll go straight ahead and say what I mean by this. So recently I've done a video called The Inner Plant, or Our Inner Plant, and the Tree of Life. So I've likened the endocrine system, or the hormonal system in our bodies, with a plant, an inner plant. So I said basically we know we have remnants of the reptilian brain at the base of our own brain, and they're very much working, and when it comes to a time of survival it kicks in big time. And so do we have the remnants of a plant. So further back in the evolutionary cycle, we living things at one point were plants, and there are still plants out there today. But as the beings have evolved, they've kept what they've been also, and continued around it, added to it, extended it, as we see in our reptilian brain, mammal brain, and then the human brain. That's something more recent. So the plant that we've got within us is obviously older, and it is kind of dominating us. It includes all these main central organs, from the pineal gland, connected by the hypothalamus, to the pituitary gland, which is pea-sized and governs your entire body. It tells everything what in order there is to do. And then as we move down the body, we've got the thymus glands in the throat area here, and we've got that's the thyroid, thyroid glands, then the thymus glands, then we've got the adrenal glands, then we've got the pancreas. These are all in the endocrine system. Then the woman's ovaries and the man's testicles, they are the main trunk organs of the endocrine system, and this is what I've likened to a plant. So what I came up with today was what I was thinking about. I was becoming more and more aware how it's this system which governs our health, and that thinking that, well, any sort of health issue you may have quite likely stems from an issue with the endocrine system. It sort of has the power to fix us. As we know, we can repair ourselves. If you're cut, your body can repair itself. It doesn't need necessarily any medicine to do that. It has that built in, as long as all the functions are working. So this is very much like the chakra system, which I've also said in previous videos. So the 7 chakras can be the 7 main areas of the plant within us, or endocrine system. And obviously it's very complicated, perhaps more complicated than a normal plant that you'd see in the garden. But it's essentially a plant, was a plant. And we could go even further back in the evolutionary cycle to when the first cells were being created, and they were simple cells. And at some point quite early on in the evolutionary cycle, what happened is some cells would find themselves living inside another cell, and they could help each other. The cell inside helped look after the health of the cell outside, and the cell outside fed the cell inside. And we still have this within us today, all in our gut, all in our intestines, on our skin. It's still a symbiotic relationship that we have today. And I personally would say that it is optimal for good health, is to have a good symbiotic system with the bacteria that lives within us and on us. And so if we have a plant within us which is governing us, regulating us, its health is paramount. So your inner plant needs certain things to thrive. As the things it needs is the exact same things that a plant growing in your garden needs. It needs sunlight, water, and minerals, and air. You need air in the soil too, and air outside. It's a breathing thing. So I was thinking about that, and because I'd often thought, I've talked about cancer. I've got cancer videos on my previous channels as well. It was a big thing for me when I was quite early on in the YouTube, 2013-14. My dad had been diagnosed with cancer, and he did die from it in September 2014, not wanting to try the alternative ways. He trusted the doctors and did what they said. And so I witnessed, along with the rest of my family, him slowly dying from these treatments. So anyhow, I won't say any more about that. But obviously that there was a drive in me to sort of, to try out this alternative way of living, and to be more natural. So in my mind it's quite simple. Natural is good, not natural is bad. So things which have been spent too much time in a factory, perhaps had synthetic things added to them, chemicals that we might not necessarily want, try and avoid all of those. I've been drinking rainwater for 10 years. I do mix it with a bit of tap water, I filter it and I boil it, but that's what I drink. I add it to my bath. I just try and be as natural as possible. So things that our plant would need, sunlight, water, minerals, is quite basic. But quite often we do things that prevents our plant getting what it needs. Now it needs that UV light, and if you put sunblock all over your body, you're preventing that UV light from penetrating your body. And we don't spend enough time outside either, probably as well. And that water we get, we want it to be pure, we want it to be clean. So there are all these things, and I'm just thinking, wow, look at where cancers are located in the body. They're all very much near the hormonal endocrine system. Obviously they can spread. So I would conclude from this that all cancers, and pretty much probably all ailments, will start within the endocrine system. And that might sound perfectly obvious and like, duh, yeah. But as far as I'm aware, surgeons are still removing parts of people's pancreas, or removing a testicle or a breast, to try and solve a problem. That is not looking at the cause, is it? That is looking at the effects and trying to do away with them. effect of just cutting them out. So obviously there's going to be another cause. I mean, but you see, often people who get cancer, it's often later in life, after the youth. Most of the time it's later in life, although it can occur earlier. Now, you never know how this plant could be affected. Trauma could affect your plant's growth, especially if you have trauma while your plant is still maturing. That could affect its growth and then its ability to function. So yeah, I obviously, like I said, there's going to be other causes, but if you sort of saw it as simple as give your plant what it needs. We don't always, I mean, we do appreciate sunshine. Everybody loves a bit of sunshine, right? But properly expose yourself to the sunshine. And I know now, the next thing I did think about this earlier. I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna want to be going nude now, aren't I? I'm getting the sun into my lung area, and that must be lovely. It's almost like the lungs could be the branches and everything of your inner plant, and that obviously is gonna need sunshine to grow and thrive. But then I was thinking, what about my nether regions? Maybe I'm always covering them up. What about if they need some sunshine? But then I thought, well, actually, they would be considered as underground, because if the plant ends with the testes, so you've got the ground level around here on just where your adrenaline glands would be, and so yeah, below ground then doesn't need sunlight, does it? Only the top half would need the sunlight. Yeah, because I'm running out of things to say, but there's also so much you could say. Especially I mean, the common cancers, the nether regions is a big one. Well, lung and bronchial, as I saw in some of the images, seems to be the biggest. But there's brain tumours, there's a lot of pancreatic cancer, but all the other issues as well. Think about it. If your inner plant is the regulator and the decider of what goes on, and it's got an issue due to imbalance, usually within your, because the most important part of the plant is the life force within it, the chi, and that would be in your core here, if you like, the void between the adrenaline glands. It's like a void. There is nothing there specially, but that's where your life force is. So if your life force is good and strong, then your plant is much more likely to thrive. It's got full energy coming through. And when wouldn't our life force be thriving? Is when we're being forced to do something we don't want to do. That's when your life force would dim. So that would probably be the true cause of every problem. But it's obviously a complicated thing. You might have something going well here and something not going well there. There's stuff going on, isn't there? It's complicated stuff. And it's all there to teach us as well. Like, the earlier you can figure out why something isn't working or not great, the easier it will be for you to sort it out. Because the last, you'll have intuitions that something is wrong. Then you probably have some dreams trying to tell you, and then maybe events in life trying to speak to you to tell you what's going on. And if you don't listen to all that, you end up with some sort of ailment. I've had ones around my mouth and my face here, this area, so that's very close to the thyroid chakra, throat chakra, to do with, in my mind, humility. So, there's stuff that I've got, and stuff in my legs. Now, legs aren't part of the chakra system, but obviously as a result of something, I haven't got any major issues at the moment. I mean, I'm 45, still feeling pretty good, so no complaints at the moment. Yeah, so most important thing is your chi and everything. But then, so if I had a problem with humility, then, an issue shows up round here. Or, hate is, I know, something that's hurt me, is holding on to some hate for somebody. That will grind away, and that, that came out here too, so... So it's telling you, you're erring. It's telling you. You need to listen to your body rather than get all obsessed with, I don't know, some TV program or a company you work for, or, some fight that isn't yours. So, when you're a child, your plant is still maturing. It's probably perfectly functioning. That's why it's making you grow so fast. The pituitary gland has got its orders, and stuff happens to kids, and they go through these phases. At the age of 11, they seem to forget everything you've ever told them, and you're wondering why they're doing such weird things. You didn't think you had to repeat something so obvious to them, but they've forgotten it, so you do. And then you're talking too much, and they hate you by now anyway, because you've been telling them what to do for so long. You just want them to shut up and go away. And then, you do stuff on your own, it all cocks up, and you realise, well, probably something they were saying. And anyway, maturity comes around at about the age of 35, maybe. And then, you can be then a fully functioning human being with, if you're lucky, a fully functioning inner plant. Or you, like most people, I'm afraid to say, got some issue with their inner plant by this stage, because nobody's really known the best thing to do. So there we go. It's quagmire of information that floats around, and if you try and go looking for it, you probably just go, oh, well, I don't know what's right, there's just too much out here, I'll leave it to the docs. And whatever is going on in this world, it's very peculiar, and what can we do? We can just try and put out there what we think. So, to summary up this, the cause of cancer, all cancers and all sort of ailments really that you can't easily get rid of, stem from your inner plant. And so to understand your inner plant, it's got the stuff on it that in Indonesia and India and China, and all over the world, and it's probably there in the Bible if you look into it esoterically. It's written everywhere. What's good is within us, and look after this thing and give it sunlight and water and be of good cheer, and have love for your neighbours, and we could all prosper happily. Okay, ciao for now.